Welcome to your abs and glutes workout for the afternoon. So it's a similar structure to what I did last week. So we've got 3x10, a 3x20 and a 3x30, just once through those 3 blocks. So starting at the 3x10, we have bridges each side, so single leg bridges, V-snaps each side, and then a plank leg lift. This is a regular plank, not a side plank. So I'll go through all of them. Single leg bridges, you can add a booty band into this if you want to, otherwise just your conventional bridges is fine. Relax the shoulders, relax your neck. You're pushing through the heel. Your non-working leg should be nice and still. You want it to be a dead weight. You don't want it to be kicking up into the air to give you a little bit more of a push. So keep it still, push through that bottom heel, tap your hip to the ground nice and gently, and then drive back up nice and quickly. Check that you aren't tensing too much through your shoulders or any other muscle that isn't working. And you're going to do 10 on your left leg and 10 on your right leg. Once you've done that, we'll move on to V-snaps. So this has a few different levels. To make it a little easier, you tuck your leg each time. So start stretched out nice and long, and then you're gonna curl up and tuck your leg towards you. Stretch back out and curl again. To make it harder, you sit up instead of performing a crunch. You do a full sit up. And then we move onto the straight leg, which is the V position. So straightening up your leg, no bend through the knee, and reaching out, sitting right up onto your bum until you've done 10 to each side. So pick which level works for you, or you can do a combination of the 3. Then you move on to your plank leg lifts. So for these ones, you can go on your knees or your toes. You go into a conventional plank position, belly button into spine, glutes squeeze tight, and then you lift one leg up just a little bit, not too much that you start to dip through your back. So you want to stay nice and stable through the core, alternating sides until you've done 10 each side. It's just a little lift till you feel your glute engage properly. And make sure you get your balance between each side as you do it. That's your first block. Then we'll move on to 3x20. So 3x20, we're starting off with our monster walks. Grab out your booty band, pop it around the shins. With this, of course, you'll do 20 to each side. Sit down into a squat position. Remember that you want to be opening your knees against the band, not relaxing in. So keep that pressure on the band constantly. 20 to one side. Don't bring your feet together in the middle because we want to keep the constant tension on the band. So 20 to each side. You can break it up into whatever groups you need to. Keep your chest up, shoulders squeezed back, and make sure your knee stays over your ankle and that your trailing leg doesn't collapse in each time you step. You should have constant tension, landing more on the outsides of your feet to encourage that push out on the band. Once you've done your monster walks, we're into some classic side plank hip dips. So up into whichever side plank position works for you. So on your knee with the top leg stretched out, or on your toes, hips drop down, your bum doesn't need to touch the mat, but get it nice and low, and then push up nice and high. Don't go super fast. Make sure you're getting a full range of motion with every rep, and looking down to your forearm to ease any tension in your neck. So you'll do each side for that one, and then we're moving on to a side leg sweep. So lying down along your mat, you can support your head in your hand, or you can rest your arm out long. It's up to you. What you want to do is think about pulling your side off the mat. So you don't actually need to create a gap, but what we want to avoid is collapsing into the mat. We want tension through the core, so belly button pulled in tight. Think about lifting your rib cage off the mat, and then we're doing a sweep. So bottom leg stays bent, top leg is extended, and for 20 reps, you're gonna point your toe, push your leg forward, flex your toe, pull your leg back in line with your hip. You don't want your hips to be wobbling forwards and backwards every time you move your leg. So pop one hand on the mat in front of you, And try and stay nice and still through your hip. Adjust how far you swing your leg and try and keep your leg up at hip height. Point your toe forwards, flex your foot backwards. So you'll do 20 reps here. Forward and back is 1. Forward, back, 2. Forward, back, 3. So again, you'll do each side for that one, and then you'll move on to your 3 by 30. So we're starting off with a banded squat walk. So grab your booty band again, pop it a little higher up, so a little closer to your knees. You're gonna drop into a squat position. If you have a mat, drop in at one end of your mat, and then you're gonna walk forwards and backwards the length of your mat until you've done 30 steps in total. So you're pulsing into each step. So you'll drop down, 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 pushing through the heel, keeping that tension on the band the whole time. And then just reverse it when you get to the end of your mat, counting each step until you get to 30. Shoulders squeeze back, chest is proud, and stay nice and low. Don't stand up in between each rep, and don't take huge steps until you've done 30 reps here. Then you'll move on to a seesaw plank. So band off. Take a regular plank position, so again, knees or toes, belly button pulled into spine. Start with your shoulders over your elbows because then you're pushing through your toes to shift your shoulders forward towards your wrists. Keep your chin lifted so you're not looking down between your elbows. Look towards the edge of your mat. Doesn't need to be an enormous shift. Just straighten up the toes and then push back. 30 reps here. And then we move on to the last exercise, which is a heel tap crunch. So onto your back, you're going to curl your shoulder blades off the mat, extend your arms and tap each heel. 30 reps in total, crunching through your obliques, so through the side. And if your neck gets tired, hands behind your head, and you mirror the same position. So you'll need to think a little bit more about the movement, but you can do the exact same movement without your hands extended. So that's the end of the workout. You're doing 3 rounds of each block, and hopefully by the end of it, you're too sore to sit down or laugh. Enjoy.